Alrighty, y'all. This is Diesel We the People News. I wasn't going to do any videos, but here we are. Okay, I was going to take a break from studying. I was watching a little bit of Idiot Box to kind of dumb down a little bit, get my mind to relax and take it easy for a little bit. However, I came across this, and it really needed to be shown. All right. So, since I am making this video is without prejudice and without recourse. Okay. I'm not waiving any of my rights. I'm keeping them all. Okay? So, while I'm at it, I'm not going to give you any legal advice, but I'm going to give opinions about this. But it's not legal advice, so do not take it as such, okay? Why? Because I'm not an attorney, that's why. Everybody needs to start asking questions, why? Because if you don't ask questions and ask why, then you can never get answers. And when government especially start hesitating, why are they hesitating? Then you got another question. Why are you hesitating? The first thing you're going to do is tell you go to get an attorney or speak to their attorney. Really? So the attorney has first-hand knowledge of everything, huh? Attorney actually has first-hand knowledge that I did or did not pay any of the taxes. The attorney has first-hand knowledge that I did or did not get a permit. Why would I want to talk to an attorney when I'm sitting here with someone that's got first-hand knowledge? You guys are making the claim. So why aren't you guys giving me the answers? You have first-hand knowledge. Well, we can't do that. That'd be, you need to talk to our attorney. Exactly. I had to talk to someone that's going by hearsay. Alright. I guess I need to finish this out, by the way. Anyway, this video is the civil rights lawyer. He's made a couple of good videos, and somehow or another, I keep on using them. All right, and so subscribe to him, y'all. Wait until you finish my video, and then hop butt over there and subscribe to him. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, as the attorney wise, he's a good one. One of the good ones.
Just want to replay this video for everybody so they don't forget that the city of Newport Richey broke into my property, broke my door.
Someone sent me another interesting TikTok video, this time showing cops making entry into a home pursuant to a search warrant. Guns drawn due to the alleged high crime of failure to obtain a building permit. Here's the footage.
Entered with guns drawn over a little discrepancy. They thought that an inspection warrant for a building permit was a search warrant, and I guess if I was in there, I'd be dead, and my dogs would probably be dead too. So now I'm afraid to ever go back in my property again.
Police department, search warrant for inside the presence road. Department, search warrant. Department. Police department. Police department.
You can hear them yell search warrant and then abruptly make entry, which is very close, in my opinion, to a no-knock entry occurring here. There's a constitutional requirement that a police officer must knock and announce their presence prior to making entry, even with a valid search warrant. There are exceptions where a no-knock warrant is actually obtained by a judge or where exigent circumstances are presented which were not known prior to the warrant being obtained. So assuming that this is true, that the search warrant was obtained here just due to the alleged crime of failure to obtain a building permit, I have some serious issues with this. Just because a search warrant is obtained by law enforcement, that does not entitle them to treat a homeowner like she's a drug dealer or a known violent felon. Police still must act reasonably in executing a search warrant. This requires adjustment for the particular facts of the situation and not to treat everybody like a common criminal, which, by the way, doesn't do any favors to law enforcement in trying to win the hearts and minds of the American public. Merely executing a search warrant doesn't justify pointing a gun at someone, even assuming someone had been in the home. But alas, this is the world that we live in now in 2022. Why? Because we have allowed the government to do what the government does best, which is grow and grow, and more laws, more laws. For this reason, I'm glad that I live in a state, in a county, in a jurisdiction where we don't even have building permits. Do the buildings fall down around us? No, they don't. Just like the fact that we could fire every employee of every state barber and cosmetology board in the entire nation. And you know what? We'd all survive. We'd all be fine. We don't need the government to save us from irresponsible or crazy barber or barbershops. You know what? We're not that helpless. We can go to a different barbershop if the guy is sketchy. Government needs to be drastically downsized. How many cops were involved in this? How many cops were involved? Do they just need some extra gun in hand time this month? You know what? It's too bad that these tough guys weren't in Uvalde. All in all, I'm sure most judges will allow what has happened here. But you know what? I wouldn't. I think it's unreasonable. I would fire absolutely everyone involved and not replace them. But that's just me.
Okay. So, again, this is my opinion, and my opinion only, because I'm not an attorney and I'm not giving no legal advice. However, let's go with ordinance, y'all. Okay. Have you guys ever asked what an ordinance is? Have you guys ever asked, how does that attend to you? Well, let me give you a little idea of what an ordinance is. Okay? This is facts in American jurisprudence. Ordinance is employees of the city or county in their territory. Okay? You can sue the city and you can sue the county, but you cannot sue the state. Why? Because it's separate. However, the cities and the counties must obey the Constitution of the state and federal Constitution also. So what they did, in fact, is created what they called a bylaw. What? A bypass law. Okay? So, what they did with this ordinance thing is actually saying that you are in fact employee of the state or the township or the county, and because you stay in silence or acquiescence, you agreed with them that you are their employees, so you must be charged with their bylaws of committing broken policies. Okay, bylaw is just a policy, really, is all it is. Okay, it's no different than any other policies. All right. Well, policy, you can't film in this building, but yet the Constitution says you can. Well, the policy does not trump the Constitution, y'all, state or federal. So therefore, you're allowed to film in there. Right? Number two, how is that a policy actually tend to since I am not what you call resident. Resident is a renter. Okay? Now, since I don't rent and I own, I haven't dug deep on the resident side of it because I'm not a resident. Okay? So therefore, since I own my property right out, I'm under the jurisdiction of the state constitution and the federal constitution that I have a right to own property, and a right cannot be taxed. And you got to bring these things up for whoever actually owns property. So are you telling me that I'm a employee of this town? Well, no. Are you telling me I owe taxes? Well, yes. So are you telling me that your policy, your bylaws, is actually over trumping my state constitution and my federal constitution, saying that I actually have a right to own property, which also says that I don't have to pay taxes on it? Is that what you're saying? Well, you got to talk to my attorney. Okay. Well, I'm fixing to talk to him when I start filing bar agreements against him and mail fraud. They send letters. Where is this due process? Okay, where's the process server? How come I was not lawfully and legally served correctly, y'all? Okay, it was sent through the mail saying I owe X amount of money. Now this attorney that does not have first-hand knowledge whether I did or did not pay or do not work for the city or county, that he just assuming without having first-hand knowledge that I owe some type of bill. So he's asking for money from me that I lawfully and legally do not owe, which is what? Mail fraud. Because he sent it through the mail. Okay? And I was never, with due process of having a process server, serve me any notice whatsoever. So therefore, they never got personal jurisdiction, they never got subject matter jurisdiction, and they never got interim jurisdiction. So, since there's only 3 out of the 3, they got 0 jurisdiction. Now, in my state, it's municipal courts. Then it's judicial. Okay? Well, municipal courts is policy enforcers. Alright? Bylaw enforcers. Okay? But since you don't know your rights, then your county tax agency is sending you a bill to pay taxes on a property that you have a right to own free and clear, but because they assume that you are part of the corporation, a resident, means you are falling in line with the ordinance. We got to ask questions, y'all. Alright? Now, my land may be on the territory. It may be inside a certain jurisdiction, like the town or county. But since I am not a resident, and since I have a right by Texas and its federal constitution to own property, how can they make a claim of a debt that I lawfully do not owe? You guys, sit and think about that. And this tax thing anyway, the 16th Amendment was never really legally ratified, by the way. Alright? And more of anything else, the 16th Amendment has to do with federal taxes, but it was never legally ratified, and that was actually case law on that. And yet, we don't ask questions. Even the IRS. There is no shucks thing as a law that exists that you must pay it. It's all volunteering. It's all consent, and it's all silence of acquiescence, because we all don't ask questions. We assumed from our bloodline. Our parents didn't teach us correctly because they let it slide, and their parents let these things slide. The best thing that we have today that they don't have yesterday, is that we have an internet that is actually fairly easy to use, and it is complex of how to get some answers, because they hide things on you, right? They put a little piece of deal in one section, and then they'll put another little piece of section over here, and then they'll put another little section over here, right? But they're getting you with trickery of words, and you heard me say trickery of words before. Okay? So, first thing you guys got to do is ask yourself. Okay? And then the next thing is, does the sheriff actually have jurisdiction and come and serve you? No. Because by technically, it would be a civil matter. Okay? And I've talked to you about being pulled over and challenging, did the officer believe he had jurisdiction? Yes. Does the officer believe that these laws actually tend to I? Yes. Objection, Your Honor. He is giving legal advice. He was judge, jury, and executioner at the same time. He cannot be a witness because there's conflict. It's conflict of interest for him to decide I broke some type of law and then be a witness to this supposedly law that I broke. He's the executive branch. That itself is out of his jurisdiction also. He can arrest you as long as he's got a warrant. He can arrest you when he sees a crime in progress. A police officer, by the way. But what he is arresting for you in that town is what they call a citizen arrest. A police officer, in all actuality, is a security guard for the interests of the town. That's all it is, y'all. That's the reason why the Supreme Court says that they're not there for your safety. Did you guys ask why they're not there for your safety? I can give you one simple thing. Because government was created not for our safety, but to uphold our rights, to protect our rights. It wasn't supposed to save you. It was to protect you. To make sure that government does not come and violate you, steal from you, and rob you like these towns and counties have been doing by using these bylaws, bypass laws, which is policies. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. Okay? It's just my opinion. If you want to learn something from it, fine. If you want to do your research, fine. But if you're going to challenge these things, people, remember, first obligations to an attorney, even him, is to the bar, then to the courts, then to the public, and then to you. Alright? Look up in American jurisprudence what a public is, by the way. This video is already stretched out too long. Okay, dokie. You guys may argue the fact schools and this, and that's the reason why we have commerce and taxes to provide these things. But I still even challenge that, y'all, because all that was supposed to be done with foreign affairs of taxing foreign commerce, not your neighbor. You're not supposed to trespass upon your neighbor and take from your neighbor. Y'all, that's a crime. My value of my property dropped $10,000 because my neighbor's property is dirty over there. So I need to go over there and get $10,000. No, I can't. Why? Because I cannot create a policy to take from him of his rights, of owning his own property the way he sees fit. Now, you guys may bitch and moan and complain and all that, but either you're going to be bound under the thumb of the government, or you're going to live free and suffer what everybody's rights are, so that way you can keep your own rights. Just saying. There is not an easy answer. Y'all got to decide on this. Alright. These will be the People News. Till next time. Bye, y'all.